Modern SAP applications are processing files from many different sources. Ensuring these files do not threaten users or the application itself is a major building block of any SAP security strategy. Therefore, SAP security guides and best practices require VSI-based file scans. Implementing them for systems running in a private cloud environment or on-premises is super easy with the new cloud release of bowbridge antivirus. The entire process takes less than 15 minutes. Let me show you how it's done. I start by downloading the installer from the bowbridge website by navigating to the Support menu and choosing Software Downloads. In the section Antivirus for Cloud Client, I can download the latest installer to my local PC. However, I am just copying the URL to the clipboard. Next, I open a terminal session to my target system and log in as SID ADM. Root permissions are not required. Because my system has internet access, I can download the installer directly from the bowbridge website by using the download link with the wget utility. The installer is only about 11 megabytes in size, so the download only takes a few seconds. After the download is complete, I extract the gzipped installer script. The installer can either be run in an interactive mode or in silent mode. For this demo, I am using the silent mode. I specify that I want the installation to be under User, SAP, SID, and bowbridge. You see, I am using the environment variable SAP's system name for the target directory, so this exact command will work on any system. Great for automated or scripted rollouts. And done. This completes the OS level installation. From now on, there is no need to access the OS again. There are no local processes, no local configuration files or licenses. Before we can set up the virus scanning part in SAP, I am going to perform a few configurations in the bowbridge customer portal. This is where all configurations, licenses, and logs are maintained. First, I'm setting up a new realm. Realms are a new concept in bowbridge Antivirus 4. Customers can use them to group systems and the related configurations in any way meaningful to their organization. This could be a system line, a department, a geographical location, or if they are a managed service provider, a realm could represent a customer. I call my new realm Cloud Demo. It will use the public edition service and be deployed to AWS. And I specify a password to restrict access. Next, I am setting up the SID of the target system in the SID tile. I create a new SID and map it to the realm I just created. Lastly, I open the Licenses tile, in this case by taking the shortcut via the Go To menu. In Antivirus 4, licenses are no longer issued to individual SIDs. There is now what we call a license pool, and customers can map license instances to the systems where they need them. This is achieved by assigning an available license instance to a globally unique combination of realm, SID, and the hostname of the machine the antivirus cloud client is deployed to. And if the landscape, the system name, or the use case change, customers can simply reassign the license instances to the new system. Now onto the SAP-level configuration. After logging in, the first step is to create a virus scanner group in Transaction vScan Group. I call it BB Cloud and create the few required parameters. For init directory, I can also use the SAP system name environment variable in the path. Init drivers specifies what public cloud scan cluster I want to use. As my system is in US East 1, I'm using the cluster in that region to assure smallest possible network latency and the best performance. I can just copy and paste the relevant access URL from the Scan Clusters tile in the customer portal. The init license path parameter must be set to the access string of the realm I want the system to be part of. Here also, I can just copy the value from the customer portal. It is shown on the details page of the realm. For init engines, I specify the services I want to use. These are Scan Proxy for better performance, MIME Scan for file type detection, Archive Extractor, so we can scan archives and compressed files, active content detection, and lastly, malware detection with the Sophos antivirus engine. Alternatively, I could use the Trellix antivirus engine or the open source CLAM AV engine. We do not recommend using CLAM AV in production environments, but the engine performs fine for validation in development environments or as a so-called second opinion scanner. In the private edition version of Antivirus Cloud, customers could even use an already existing ICAP server, such as the Fortinet 40 Sandbox or web security products by Symantec, Trend Micro, and many other vendors. I am saving the settings into a transport request, which, by the way, does not include any absolute paths or system names, so I can easily transport these settings to my Q system and later on to my P system. Next, I'm setting up the virus scan provider in Transaction vScan. In here, I only need to link the provider to the newly created group, specify an optional re-init interval, and provide the path to the adapter shared library. Again, I am using a relative path, so this setting is identical on every instance or layer of the system line. And after saving, I am starting the provider. It is now connecting to the cloud service and retrieving the scan settings, the license, active content definitions, and MIME to extensions mappings. And here we go. The virus scan provider is up and running using the scan cluster in US East 1 on AWS. Almost done. Next, we open Transaction vScan Profile to set up 2 virus scan profiles, as recommended by SAP. The first one, ZBasic, is a profile that performs malware scans only. I mark this profile as active and activate the evaluation of profile configuration parameters I am going to set later. In the Steps folder, I link the profile to the scanner group. And in the Profile Configuration Parameters folder, I explicitly set parameters to disable the checking of MIME types and the detection of active content in order to make sure this profile only executes basic malware checks. Unlike virus scanner groups and virus scan providers, virus scan profiles are not cross-client. This means customers have to maintain them in every client separately. Therefore, the changes are recorded to a customizing transport. Okay, Profile ZBasic is ready. Now I create another profile called ZExtended. I also mark the profile as active, activate the evaluation of profile configuration parameters, and I mark this profile as default. The default profile is referenced by other profiles out of the box, so simply activating them with no further changes will result in the use of the parameters defined in this profile. Just like in the ZBasic profile, I also link this one to the scanner group BB Cloud in the Steps folder. And because this is the profile leveraging the extended capabilities of bowbridge Antivirus Cloud, I am explicitly activating MIME type filtering and active content detection in the profile configuration parameters. These settings can be detailed with granular settings, which can be set in the customer portal, either for the entire realm or explicitly for the SID of the system. Now I can reference my new virus scan profiles from other profiles that come with the system. In fact, most profiles, like the one for GUI uploads, already reference the default profile if the reference profile field is left empty. Alternatively, if I wanted to explicitly use the settings of ZBasic or any other virus scan profile, I can specify that in this field. At this stage, it is sufficient to activate the virus scan profiles to use from the overview table with no further configuration. SAP recommends activating all of them, with most of them referencing the ZExtended profile. Many documentations omit the configuration of the SAP gateway. But I want to also secure OData file transfers, so there is one more location to explicitly activate the scan. In the SAP Gateway Virus Scan Profile configuration, I'm ensuring the use of the Virus Scan interface is not switched off. In the field Virus Scan Profile, I can either explicitly specify a virus scan profile to use or leave the field empty to make the SAP Gateway use the default virus scan profile. That's it. The configuration is complete. And like I promised, it did not even take 15 minutes. But don't take my word for it. Let's run some tests. In Transaction vScan test, I can test the virus scan configuration. First, let's try scanning the built-in iCar test file. This file is blocked by virus scanners despite being benign. That's the short version of what this note says. Okay, this is the expected result. The iCar test file was identified as malware and blocked. Scanning the built-in Shakespeare sonnet results in the file being accepted. Good. Next, let's try your average 1 MB PDF file. Also accepted. Good. Did you notice how fast that was? Lastly, let's try a PDF file, but with a JPEG extension. As expected, it was blocked by the Z extended profile because the extension of the file name does not match the content of the file. Of course, these scans are reflected in the logs that are accessible in the customer portal. Okay, this completes the installation, configuration, and basic testing of malware protection for SAP. Would you like to give it a try in your environment? Then reach out to us. We'll be happy to set up an evaluation license for your organization and also help you secure your mission-critical SAP applications in 15 minutes or less. Promise.